Chapter 261 Chaos in the Buddhist Sect, Mysterious Mastermind. 10 days later, the weakened undying emperor was cursed to death by Hanju. Because of your curse, the remnant soul of your enemy undying emperor dissipated. His body and soul were destroyed. His profile picture in interpersonal relationships was also gone. Hanju heaved a sigh of relief. After cursing 4 enemies, he lost 100,000 years of life. Who could withstand this expenditure? Hanju's heart ached, but he still had to continue cursing. Next was the dragon subduing Buddha, Grand Unity Golden Immortal Cultivation level, 4-star hatred points. He had to die, half a month later, because of your curse. Your enemy dragon subduing Buddha's Buddhist heart shattered and he suffered from chi deviation. Fortunately, the Buddha ancestor protected his soul. Damn it, another big shot was interfering. Hanju gritted his teeth and persisted. Fortunately, this Buddha ancestor was not as determined as the demon emperor. Another 10 days passed. Because of your curse, your enemy dragon subduing Buddha turned into an evil fiend. The Buddhist and devil energy clashed and he perished. His body and soul are destroyed. Another enemy icon was gone. Hanju felt very happy. He looked at the remaining enemies. Most of them were immortals of the heavenly court, so their hatred was not high. He was a little hesitant. If they were all cursed to death, wouldn't heavenly court suffer heavy losses? Forget it. It was fine if the hatred points were 1 or 2 stars. The other party just did not like him and might not want to kill him. However, 3 stars of hatred meant that they had to be cursed to death. This was the sign of unforgiving hatred. Hanju filtered through the list and continued cursing. In any case, these immortals were not strong. It was fine if a few died. It was all the hatred accumulated from resisting the heavenly troops more than 1,000 years ago. After so many years, most of the hatred had decreased, but a few still maintained it. They were simply crazy. Immortal World, Buddhist sect, the heavenly Tao Buddha sat on a golden lotus. In front of him were countless Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and Arhats. Even though the Buddhist light shone brightly, the atmosphere was extremely oppressive. Heavenly Tao Buddha slowly said, after the fall of the victorious fighting Buddha, the heavenly rage Buddha and the dragon subduing Buddha also perished in the Buddhist sect. I've deduced that someone is using a supreme treasure to curse. What do you think? 2 immortal emperors and a grand unity golden immortal, they were gone just like that. To the Buddhists, it was definitely a huge loss. A fat Buddha said, someone is provoking the Buddhist sect and even starting a war. This cannot be tolerated. With that said, all the Buddhas were infuriated. Amitabha. Buddha is merciful. We don't provoke others, but they provoke us. How despicable. This is a complete slap to the face of the entire Buddhist sect. Could it be the heavenly court? No, the heavenly emperor won't do that. If he really wants to target us, I'm afraid the heavenly troops would have already come. I think it's the divine palace. They're mysterious and unfathomable. We don't know how many mighty figures are hidden there. At least, no one in the heavenly court has such a powerful curse ability. The Buddhas discussed. The Bodhisattvas, Arhats, and the envoys looked at each other and whispered. The heavenly Tao Buddha slowly opened his eyes and said, I've deduced that the Dharma treasure is a book. A book. The Buddhas were even more puzzled. This range is too large. There are too many treasures in the world in the form of books as Dharma treasures. The most famous is the Life and Death Book of the Netherworld, followed by the Earth Immortal Book of the Immortal World. A Buddha shook his head. Some Buddhas also doubted it. Since it's a curse, how can the other party leave any traces behind? Could the other party have shown you a book to mislead you? Many Buddhas nodded in agreement. The heavenly Tao Buddha fell into deep thought. He couldn't guess the other party's identity. It wasn't difficult for him to hide his Dharma treasure. Could it be that he really exposed the book on purpose? The heavenly Tao Buddha frowned. The more he thought about it, the more uneasy he became. After all, the calamity was coming. He didn't want the Buddhist sect to be the first to face it, and no matter how the Buddhas discussed it, they couldn't think of the true murderer's identity. Hanju's presence was too small. Even the heavenly Tao Buddha didn't care about him and didn't even know of his existence. In his opinion, the reason why the Supreme Buddha and the ancient spiritual ginseng stayed in the reroll world was definitely the Heavenly Emperor's plan. Earlier in the reroll world, there were Divine Lord Wu De and Flame Lord Emperor. It was enough to hide Hanju's existence. The dragon subduing Buddha and the Heavenly Rage Buddha also didn't reveal Hanju's existence because he was too weak. Although they wanted to kill him, they didn't think much of him. The reason why Hanju didn't die was that the Heavenly Emperor was protecting him, or another half a year passed, apart from the Demon Emperor. All the enemies with 3 stars and above hatred points were cursed to death by Hanju. He had lost 1,000,000 years of his lifespan. He was still far from the self-imposed limit of 100 million. Hanju felt better. The sky had never been so blue, and the air had never been so fresh. Master, you're very happy. What were you doing just now? Dao Comprehension Sword couldn't help but ask. When she saw Hanju bleeding from his 7 orifices, she was almost frightened to death. Hanju said seriously, just pretend that you didn't see this. You're not allowed to tell anyone, including my disciples. If you dare to tell anyone, both of us will die. Dao Comprehension Sword's face turned pale. Was it that serious? She hurriedly promised, I've already forgotten about this. Hanju nodded and said meaningfully, the world is about to be overturned. At that time, we won't have anywhere to hide even if we want to. Hurry up and cultivate. Don't keep staring at me. Dao Comprehension Sword blushed in embarrassment. On the other side, inside the Taoist temple, the white-robed Buddha looked at the sky outside the door and muttered, why isn't he here yet? The 13th prince had said that he would definitely make him pay the price. However, after waiting for a few years, the 13th prince did not come. Could it be that the heavenly court had made a move? The white-robed Buddha sighed. Just as he was about to cultivate, a figure appeared in front of him. It was the heavenly Tao Buddha. The white-robed Buddha almost peed his pants. Heavenly Tao Buddha said expressionlessly, don't worry. I can't touch you. I just want to ask you something. The white-robed Buddha pretended to be calm and asked, what is it? Who killed the victorious fighting Buddha? The heavenly Tao Buddha asked. When the white-robed Buddha heard that, he knew that the heavenly Tao Buddha was looking for Hanju. He said, the immortal emperor of the Jie school attacked. The heavenly Tao Buddha frowned. How is that possible? Why would the Jie school attack? The immortal emperor of the Jie school is arrogant. He wants the victorious fighting Buddha's body to resurrect an ancient mighty figure. The white-robed Buddha said, he was a disciple of the Chan school in the past and was extremely against the Jie school. In the immeasurable calamity, the 3 schools of the Tao sect fought among themselves and perished together. Even today, they were still mortal enemies. The heavenly Tao Buddha was silent. A moment later, his figure vanished. The white-robed Buddha heaved a sigh of relief and secretly admired Hanju. How impressive! Even after killing the victorious fighting Buddha, the heavenly Tao Buddha did not detect him. The white-robed Buddha made up his mind to cozy up to Hanju. The world was huge. Now, he could only stay here, and he had to rely on the reroll world to achieve the Emperor Realm. Heavenly Court, in the Imperial Garden, the heavenly Emperor was reading a scroll in the pavilion when the figure of the heavenly Tao Buddha appeared. Did the victorious fighting Buddha die in the hands of your heavenly court? He asked. The heavenly Emperor glanced at him and said, I wish. He killed so many of our immortals and gods. Hanju was the heavenly Emperor's trump card. He couldn't be exposed. Although he didn't know why the heavenly Tao Buddha asked, the heavenly Emperor still wanted to help Hanju. Therefore, he said, the victorious fighting Buddha was killed by a mysterious mighty figure when he approached the reroll world. Even I can't guess his background. Heavenly Tao Buddha frowned. Could it really be the Jie school? Speaking of which, the Buddhist sect indeed had a grudge against the Jie school. Many of their disciples came from there. Chapter 262 Fusing the Great Tao Fragments. Hanju didn't know that the heavenly Tao Buddha was looking for the victorious fighting Buddha's true murderer. He was cultivating happily. After only the demon emperor was left, Hanju felt the pressure decrease. His next goal was to become a rank 2 immortal emperor. Although it was very difficult to achieve the emperor realm, he couldn't stop at rank 1 immortal emperor. the more difficult it was, the more he had to grasp every day. Time passed, year after year passed. The true dragon race did not come to the reroll world again. Even the Fusong tree did not shake anymore, as if the danger had been resolved. It seemed that only the 13th prince was interested in the reroll world. In the blink of an eye, 20 years passed. Hanju's cultivation level was steadily increasing, but he was still far from becoming a ranked 2 immortal emperor. On this day, the providence of the reroll world increased again, and the limit of the world rose to the Earth Immortal Realm. Only those who surpassed the Earth Immortal Realm would be expelled by the heavenly Tao. The spirit chi of heaven and earth multiplied. Everyone in the world could sense it. Immediately, a rumor began to spread: there was no need to ascend. The mortal world was the immortal world itself. This rumor spread wider and wider. Many holy lands in the mortal world acknowledged it. In just a few hundred years, the spirit chi of the world continued to increase. After all, the reason why cultivators ascended was that the mortal world couldn't allow them to advance any further. The mastermind behind this rumor was the white-robed Buddha. He had put in a lot of effort to increase the reroll world's strength. As the world's cultivation limit increased, Hanju also began to allow disciples who hadn't reached the heaven immortal realm to go out and train, especially the 8 Han brothers. They could go out and broaden their horizons. For a time, the Cultivate diligently become immortal mountain was much quieter. Hanju was cultivating the heavenly cycle body tempering technique in the cave abode, even if he reached the immortal Emperor realm, his stellar primordial body could still become stronger. Detected that the heavenly court is declaring war on the demon court. You have the following choices. 1. Immediately ascend and join the heavenly court to fight for Providence. You can obtain a great Tao fragment, a mystical power inheritance, and a heavenly Tao spirit stone. 2. Don't ascend for the time being. Stay away from trouble and cultivate in a low-profile manner. You can obtain a great Tao fragment. Hanju was stunned. The heavenly court was declaring war on the demon court. In the past, it was always others provoking the heavenly court. This time, the heavenly emperor had gotten arrogant. Looking at the system reward, it was obviously trying to lure Hanju into the battle. Could this be the beginning of the immeasurable calamity? No, I can't involve myself. Hanju silently chose the second option and obtained another great Tao fragment. At this point, he had accumulated 9 grand Tao fragments. Now, he could sense the great Tao and obtain a supreme Tao technique. Hanju had been waiting for this moment. He had thought that he would have to wait until he was 3,000 years old before he could obtain the 9th great Tao fragment. He didn't expect the heavenly emperor to give him a surprise. Hanju's favorability towards the heavenly emperor increased. The current favorability was 9 stars. Hanju adjusted his emotions and chased Tao comprehension's sword out. Then, he took out the 9 great Tao fragments. The fragments were like pieces of a compass. Their color was different and looked very inconsistent. They didn't seem to be fragments of the same item. Hanju carefully used his dermic powers to fuse the 9 great Tao fragments. In an instant, a strong light burst forth, illuminating the cave abode. Hanju felt an extremely terrifying aura. This was an unprecedented feeling of terror. In front of this aura, he, a rank 1 immortal emperor, seemed like he would be reduced to ashes at any moment. Was this the aura of the great Tao? Hanju was shocked. Why was his Tao of life and death not so powerful? The strong light in front of him suddenly surged into his body and his eyes closed. The light dissipated, and the 9 great Tao fragments were already gone. Outside the cave abode. Liao, Long Hao, Tao comprehension sword, the black hell chicken, Sun Chang'an, Chu Shuren, and the 3-headed Wirm king, who were cultivating under the tree, couldn't help but look over. Apart from them, the others had already gone out to train. Moved. Sun Chang'an muttered, this aura, he had felt it before. He had felt it from the Buddha ancestor. Chu Shuren's heart beat faster. For some reason, he was stunned when he sensed the aura coming from the connate cave abode. Unconsciously, he saw some fragmented images that were unfamiliar and yet familiar to him. No way, Master is breaking through again, the 3-headed Wirm king exclaimed. How long had it been? Everyone was already used to this and did not reply. Chu Shuren slowly closed his eyes. Sun Chang'an glanced at him with a meaningful gaze. Hanju's consciousness came to a mysterious space filled with purple mist. There was nothing else. He floated in confusion until his consciousness became clear. Hanju stopped and thought in confusion, where was I not fusing the great Tao fragments? Why was he here? Hanju observed his surroundings carefully. Isn't this purple mist the chaotic chi in my body? Why is there such a huge quantity? Could it be that his consciousness was in his body now? But why were there no billions of stars? Hanju was even more confused and started to wander around. However, this space was endless. Even if he erupted with the speed of an immortal emperor, he still couldn't reach the end. He couldn't even leave this space. Hanju panicked. Could it be that he was attacked by a mighty figure and his soul was trapped here? After a long time, after confirming that he couldn't escape, Hanju gave up. He began to meditate and cultivate. What? Hanju was pleasantly surprised to find that his cultivation speed was much faster than before. Wait, so he wasn't trapped, after all. Could this be the process of fusing the great Tao fragments? Supreme Tao techniques weren't directly inherited, but created by oneself. After thinking it through, Hanju began to comprehend the 6 paths of reincarnation technique. The reason why he could cultivate to this day was mainly because of this cultivation technique. If he wanted to create a stronger cultivation technique, he could only use the 6 paths of reincarnation as the foundation. Hanju suddenly had a bold thought. He fused the 6 paths of reincarnation technique and the heavenly cycle body tempering technique. The 6 paths of reincarnation technique emphasized comprehensive rules, and the heavenly cycle body tempering technique used strength to attain the Tao and domineeringly improve the body. Boom! The purple mist from all directions surged into Hanju's body. His consciousness entered an extremely mysterious state. The things he couldn't understand in the past began to dawn on him like the clouds parting to reveal the sun. Everything became clear. Countless thoughts appeared in Hanju's mind. It was like the explosion of the universe. Tao begets 1, 1 begets 2, 2 begets 3, 3 begets all things. He began to create a new cultivation technique. Heavenly Court, Numinous Palace. The immortals were discussing how to attack the demon court. The Heavenly Emperor sat on his throne and listened quietly. At this moment, the Numinous Palace suddenly shook violently. Shocked, the immortals took out their treasures and waited. What's happening? Enemy attack? I can't sense the enemy's aura. No, it's not an enemy attack, it's Providence. The Heavenly Court's Providence is increasing. Why is this happening? In an uproar, the immortals spread their divine senses. The Heavenly Emperor frowned and calculated with his fingers. Then, his expression changed drastically. He deduced that the providence of the Heavenly Court was rising at an extremely terrifying speed. Not only that, but a certain power of rules that was even stronger than the heavenly Tao descended and enveloped the Heavenly Court. Someone is becoming a Zenith Heaven cultivator. Impossible. The Heavenly Emperor knew the Heavenly Court extremely well. There was no such person. Chapter 263 Primordial Chaos Reincarnation Great Tao. Investigate. I want to know the reason, the Heavenly Emperor shouted in a low voice. Since he couldn't deduce it, he would use manpower to find out. The immortals immediately accepted the order. They were about to discuss the strategy of attacking the demon court when they were interrupted. The sudden increase in providence might not be a good thing. Someone might be messing with the Heavenly Court. The immeasurable calamity was about to arrive. The faction with the greatest providence would definitely face it. According to history, the strongest factions often ended up the worst after facing the calamity. This was also the reason why the 4 overlord powers had always maintained a balance. They could fight, but they definitely did not want to become the strongest force. This was what the Heavenly Court and the Divine Palace thought. If the two of them became stronger together, neither was the strongest. Looking at the past calamities, the final victors were all weak forces before the Great Calamity. During the first calamity, the Dragon, Phoenix, and Qilin races fought and the Tao sect rose. During the Magus Demon Calamity, the Magus and demons fought to the death and the human race rose. During the Divine Investiture Calamity, the internal strife of the 3 Tao sect schools gave rise to the Buddhist sect, the Heavenly Emperor tried his best to calm down, but he was still furious. The immeasurable calamity had just begun, but someone wanted to harm the heavenly court already. In the Buddhist sect, the heavenly Tao Buddha suddenly opened his eyes and looked at the sky. He frowned and muttered, "Great Tao Providence. What's the heavenly court doing? Is this a declaration of war?" He immediately contacted the demon emperor. On the other side, Divine Palace. The master of the Divine Palace was cultivating and also felt the heavenly court's providence increased. He counted with his fingers. Nothing came up. His first thought was that someone was making a move on the heavenly court. In the past few years, the heavenly court had often fought with the Buddhist sect, the demon court, and the devil race. It had been extremely difficult. Why had their providence increased so much? Looks like the calamity is really coming, the master of the Divine Palace muttered to himself with a solemn expression. This was the first time the Divine Palace had experienced the immeasurable calamity. As its master, he naturally felt great pressure. If he wasn't careful, the Divine Palace would cease to exist. Hanju comprehended a supreme Tao technique, causing the immortal world to shake and a storm to surge. Not aware of it, he continued comprehending it, and the mysterious space. He was already wrapped in purple mist, forming a huge purple egg. Mysterious words circled it. Looking at the words, they seemed to be of different languages. He had already found a feeling that a brand new and powerful cultivation technique was being born in his mind. It was constantly improving and strengthening. This was no longer a cultivation technique, but the Dharmic Tao. It was a method to attain the Tao at the same time. Above the cultivate diligently become immortal mountain, rolling thunderclouds appeared and countless purple lightning interwoven. Everyone from the hidden sect looked up in shock. What a terrifying pressure! The Jade Pure Sacred sect didn't see such a phenomenon. Previously, Hanju had combined the barrier function of the system with the Tao field. No matter what happened inside, from the outside, the cultivate diligently become immortal mountain looked peaceful and beautiful. They would see no abnormality, and the aura of the cultivate diligently become immortal mountain wouldn't leak out. After all, the hidden sect disciples were all geniuses. Every now and then, they would break through and cause a huge commotion. However, if Hanju saw the thunderclouds on the peak, he would definitely be shocked. This was a heavenly tribulation that even the heavenly Tao stone and Tao field could not stop. One had to know that he hadn't transcended the tribulation when he had ascended to the Emperor realm. Purple lightning struck down crazily on the mountaintop. It passed through the mountain and landed on Hanju. The mountain was not destroyed, but Hanju's body trembled. This wasn't the heavenly tribulation. There was no destructive power. It was more like a baptism. Under the infusion of purple lightning, Hanju's body burst out with light like a human star. His body was being tempered and becoming stronger. The Black Hell Chicken, Tao Comprehension Sword, Sun Chang'an, and the others were relieved when they discovered that the purple lightning did not harm the cultivate diligently become immortal mountain. They were certain that Hanju was cultivating a mystical power, a mysterious and powerful mystical power. Some time passed before Hanju finally woke up. The mysterious words and purple mist around him were all sucked into his body. Hanju opened his eyes. His pupils had turned purple. This technique is called the Primordial Chaos Reincarnation Great Tao. Hanju muttered to himself. As soon as he finished speaking, the surrounding purple gas surged into his body. His cultivation level began to increase. Congratulations on creating a great Tao cultivation technique. You have obtained a heavenly Tao spirit stone and a supreme treasure. Congratulations on obtaining the Heaven and Earth Primordial Sword, Heaven and Earth Primordial Sword, Deity Realm Numinous Treasure, a weapon of slaughter. Its power is endless. The stronger the negative karma, the stronger the lethality. Great Tao cultivation technique. Hanju was pleasantly surprised. His future cultivation would be smooth sailing now. He didn't immediately take out the Heaven and Earth Primordial Sword but continued to comprehend. Although it was the Primordial Chaos Reincarnation Great Tao that he had comprehended, he had not completely grasped it. He didn't even know how far this Tao could be cultivated. Recalling his previous state of enlightenment, Hanju felt like he was in a dream. After waking up, his dream became blurry. After this fortuitous encounter, Hanju finally understood that the qi in his body was not chaotic qi, but the higher level primordial qi. the stellar primordial body could constantly produce nebulous primordial qi. The nebulous primordial qi was above the heavenly Tao and was not restricted by it. After a long time, Hanju's consciousness returned to his body. He opened his eyes and discovered that the cave abode was in chaos. He didn't think too much and began to sense his body. His dermic powers had increased by more than 10 times. He wasn't far from becoming a rank 2 Immortal Emperor. The Immortal Emperor realm had 9 ranks. Apart from increasing the accumulation of dermic powers, each rank also required the soul to transform. After transforming 9 times, he would become a rank 9 Immortal Emperor. When the soul reached an absolute realm of perfection, he could advance to the deity realm. The Emperor realm cultivated the soul, while the deity realm cultivated the Tao heart. It wasn't enough for the Tao heart to be just firm. One could cultivate it at the deity realm, and even use it to suppress all living beings. Hanju was extremely satisfied. As expected of the 9 great Tao fragments, this was truly impressive. Hanju waved his right hand, restoring the cave abode to its original state. Come out for a gathering. A familiar voice sounded. It was the Heavenly Emperor. Hanju was puzzled. Why was the Heavenly Emperor here? He immediately left the cave abode and headed for the familiar forest. The moment Hanju appeared, he felt the Heavenly Emperor's gaze. Full of pressure, the Heavenly Emperor examined him and then said, "What absurd providence. It's really you." Stunned, Hanju examined his providence. It was indeed much higher than before. The so-called providence was invisible and colorless. It required a special technique to sense it, and an immortal emperor could use their divine sense to detect it. Hanju was like a sun, shining brightly. The influence of a great Tao cultivation technique was so terrifying. Crap. This wasn't good for his seclusion. Hanju didn't know how to face the Heavenly Emperor. Tell me honestly, what did you do earlier? The Heavenly Emperor stared at him with a burning gaze. Hanju's heart almost jumped out of his chest. He had thought that the Heavenly Court would face a huge crisis, but who knew? It was an unprecedented opportunity. To be able to attract the great Tao, he must have obtained a great opportunity. Hanju said carefully, "I just had an epiphany." The Heavenly Emperor was expressionless, but he was extremely shocked inside. "Epiphany, you've already turned the world upside down." No, if news of Hanju's talent spread, the Buddhists, the Demon Court, the Divine Palace, and even the Tao sect would definitely risk their lives to kill him. The Heavenly Emperor's heart began to burn. Perhaps Hanju could become a Zenith Heaven cultivator. How many years had it been? It had been a long time since the immortal world had given birth to a Zenith Heaven. It had been so long that everyone thought that the Immortal Emperor realm was the peak of cultivation. Chapter 264 Dual Prodigies of the Human School, Suchi's Determination. Hanju became nervous when the Heavenly Emperor suddenly smiled. What a cunning expression! Could it be that the Heavenly Emperor was plotting to make him work? Hanju sighed inside. The Heavenly Emperor stared at him with a burning gaze and asked, "Is your loyalty to the Heavenly Court still there?" "The Heavenly Court is my home. If I'm invincible in the myriad worlds, I will definitely send the Heavenly Court to the top." But not now, right? Cough cough, no. I'm too weak now. The other immortals who can contribute to the Heavenly Court can also do it. I want to become the future pillar of the Heavenly Court. From today onwards, I won't interfere if an immortal emperor attacks the reroll world. However, if they exceed the emperor realm, I won't let you die. The Heavenly Emperor snorted, looking as if he had already seen through him. Hanju hurriedly nodded. He could only agree. The Heavenly Emperor sized him up and said, "Perhaps you can reach the Zenith Heaven realm." Zenith Heaven, Hanju's heart skipped a beat. "My goal has been discovered," he asked curiously. "Are there many Zenith Heavens in the immortal world?" The Heavenly Emperor replied, "Ever since the last calamity ended, there has been no new Zenith Heaven. Perhaps one will appear in the next calamity. The 2 supreme prodigies of the human school are already close to it. If you're able to reach the Zenith Heaven realm after the next calamity, I will do my best to protect you." Although the Heavenly Court was afraid of the immeasurable calamity, they were not in despair. They had already survived several calamities. Human school, Hanju blinked and asked curiously, Is the human school the strongest among the three schools of the Tao sect? The Heavenly Emperor shook his head. In terms of power, they're the weakest. Ever since the divine investiture calamity ended, the human school only nurtured 2 disciples in each generation. As long as one disciple dies, the other disciple must also die. However, after all the disciples of the first generation die, they will nurture the next generation. In terms of talent, the disciples of the human school have the highest potential. Live and die together, 2 disciples in the sect at any one time. What kind of ridiculous rule was this? Hanju was shocked. Wasn't this elite path too narrow? Weren't they afraid of accidentally destroying the sect's lineage? By the way, Your Majesty, do you know Pan Xan? Hanju asked curiously. The Heavenly Emperor frowned. Where did you learn this name? Hanju didn't hide anything and told him about his encounter with Pan Xan. The Heavenly Emperor's expression turned solemn. Don't have too deep of a relationship with this person. If you offend him, I won't be able to protect you. Furthermore, he's being targeted by an extremely terrifying mighty figure and can't even protect himself. Being on good terms with him won't end well. Hanju asked in surprise, is there a higher hierarchy in this world than you, the Demon Emperor, and the Buddha? You'll understand when you reach the deity realm. Is His Majesty at the deity realm? Deity realm? Hee. The Heavenly Emperor shook his head and laughed before disappearing. Hanju showed a frown. This laughter. Could it be that the Heavenly Emperor was at the Zenith Heaven realm? Hanju was secretly shocked. He really couldn't offend him then. He returned to the connate cave abode and continued cultivating. It had taken him nearly 3 years to comprehend the Supreme Tao technique. He had to continue cultivating. He wanted to break through to the rank 2 Immortal Emperor realm as soon as possible. In a dark palace, Su Chi was meditating. Ever since he had escaped the pursuit of the great desolate sacred dynasty, he had been cultivating in seclusion in the divine palace and did not interact with others. Figure suddenly appeared in front of him. It was the Sword God Emperor. The Sword God Emperor said expressionlessly, Su Chi, you have to go on a mission next. Seeing Su Chi gave him a headache. As his cultivation level increased, this fellow's bad luck also increased rapidly. Even Grand Unity Golden Immortals might not be able to withstand it. When this fellow reached the Grand Unity Golden Immortal Realm, perhaps even Immortal Emperors would be harmed. The Jie school was really detestable. They always nurtured trouble. Su Chi opened his eyes and asked curiously, what mission? Kill the demon saints. Do you dare? The Sword God Emperor looked down at Su Chi and deliberately provoked him. Su Chi said, I don't dare. The Sword God Emperor fell silent. Su Chi cursed silently. Do you think I'm stupid? Kill the demon saints? Master isn't secretly protecting me. Won't I die if I go anyway? Master asked me to stay in the Divine Palace. I'm not going anywhere. Ever since Su Chi was imprisoned by the Grand Desolate Sacred Dynasty, he finally understood Hanju's efforts. Without absolutely powerful cultivation, he really couldn't wander around. Go. If you're afraid of the demon saints, go kill the demon kings. The Sword God Emperor suppressed his anger. Su Chi shook his head. No, it's too dangerous. I want to cultivate well. Isn't the Divine Palace very tolerant toward disciples? There's no need to carry out missions unless they've already finished their apprenticeship. The reason why there were so many prodigies in the Divine Palace was because of the rules. Unless the Divine Palace made arrangements, the disciples had to leave the sect before they could go out and do missions. Yu Chi had already been sent out by the Sword God Emperor once. This time, he felt that his rejection was very reasonable. Even if he was a disciple recruited by the Sword God Emperor, he couldn't forcefully expel him. The Sword God Emperor frowned, didn't say anything else and turned to leave. Su Chi heaved a sigh of relief and continued cultivating. I am already about to reach the Grand Unity True Immortal Realm. If Master knows, he will definitely be happy. No one in the sect should be able to catch up to me. Su Chi thought proudly. He suddenly missed the cultivate diligently become Immortal Mountain. When he became a Golden Immortal, he would return. At that time, he would give his master a surprise. In the future, He would be the one supporting the Cultivate diligently become Immortal Mountain. Another 10 years passed. Hanju took out the Book of Misfortune and started cursing the Demon Emperor. There was only one target left on his daily mission. Hanju felt that it was difficult for him to curse the Demon Emperor to death with his cultivation, but at least it could annoy him. While cursing, he checked his emails. Your good friend Divine General was attacked by the Demon Race's Immortal Emperor, X15. Your good friend Divine Lord Wude was attacked by a Demon Saint. Your disciple Su Chi spread bad luck. The Divine Palace is unaffected. The Jinx's divinity has begun to increase. Your grand disciple Morong Chi was attacked by demons, X239874. Your good friend Tai Sutian discussed the Tao with a mighty figure and comprehended the great Tao of karma. Your good friend Di Hongya left the immortal world and stepped into the river of time. Your good friend Jiang Yi was attacked by a mighty figure and his body was destroyed. Fortunately, a mighty figure saved him. Your good friend Zhang Guxing has returned to his body. His sword Tao heart has grown. The Heavenly Court and the Demon Court really fought. Hanju noticed that Zhang Guxing had regained his body and immediately checked his interpersonal relationships. Zhang Guxing, rank 5 Immortal Emperor, so impressive? Hanju was shocked. He had already felt that his brother was not simple, but he didn't expect him to be so ridiculously strong. Was Zhang Guxing going to rise up? It must be because of me. Hanju didn't curse Yu Tianbao to death directly, but he had accumulated too many curses in the past. He probably had a mental breakdown already, because Yu Tianbao didn't have any hatred towards him. Hanju was too embarrassed to curse him to death. If Yu Tianbao wanted to kill Zhang Guxing, he would have died long ago. He was probably obstructed in the Divine Palace. He should let Zhang Guxing kill this person personally. Hanju thought silently and continued to check his emails. Almost all the heavenly generals of the Heavenly Court were attacked. It was quite a commotion. Hanju felt a sense of danger. He had to hurry up and break through to the rank 2 Immortal Emperor realm. At this moment, Tao Comprehension Sword walked in and stopped in front of him. She said carefully, Master, the chaotic heavenly dog is back. Chapter 265 Li Xinyo, Li Daokong. Why is this dog back? Hanju opened his eyes and snorted coldly. His tone was filled with disdain. The other disciples had their own backgrounds, only the chaotic heavenly dog was obtained from the system by him. Hanju actually cared about the chaotic heavenly dog, but this fellow was too reckless. Every time he went out, he would be beaten up and refused to return. Its eyes were dug out. Tao Comprehension Sword said carefully. Hanju frowned. He immediately swept his divine sense out. At that moment, the chaotic heavenly dog was surrounded by the people from the hidden sect. It lay on the ground, its aura weak and emaciated. It didn't have its previous arrogance and looked very miserable. The black-held chicken exploded in anger and cursed. Stupid dog, who tortured you like this? Although it was cursing, it was clearly very concerned about the chaotic heavenly dog. After all, the chaotic heavenly dog was hatched by it. It was equivalent to its child. The chaotic heavenly dog sighed. Stop asking. I won't go out again. The others frowned. Longhao said in a low voice, Who is it? Tell me, I'll help you take revenge. He had always promised to protect the hidden sect. Having lived for so long, this was the first time he had encountered such a miserable fellow disciple. Forget it. There's really no need. The chaotic heavenly dog shook its head. It was clearly afraid. Everyone was very curious. What had the chaotic heavenly dog experienced that made it so afraid? In the past, this dog was the most arrogant. The chaotic heavenly dog scanned the area and suddenly asked, Where's Yang Tiandong? He went out to train again? Everyone spread their hands, indicating that they did not know either. Yang Tiandong has been in the reincarnation cycle for hundreds of years. Hanju's voice suddenly sounded. Everyone was stunned. Yang Tiandong was dead? They were all shocked. Hanju didn't mention it before and oh, wonder he didn't come back. Chaotic heavenly dog, come in. The others can continue cultivating. Hanju's voice floated over again. Immediately after, Tao Comprehension Sword walked out of the cave abode. the chaotic heavenly dog was uneasy as it carefully walked towards the cave abode. Although its eyes were gone, its divine sense was still there. After it entered the cave abode, the others exploded. The chaotic heavenly dog's eyes were gouged out and Yang Tiandong died. It's so dangerous outside. Inside the connate cave abode, the chaotic heavenly dog sprawled in front of Hanju, not daring to look up as its body trembled. Hanju frowned. He caught a mysterious force in the chaotic heavenly dog's eye sockets, preventing it from regrowing its eyes. Who injured you? If the chaotic heavenly dog didn't provoke the other party, Hanju would uphold justice. The chaotic heavenly dog hesitated, afraid that it would cause trouble for him. Hanju asked, "The other party is an immortal emperor. Are you afraid that I can't defeat him?" Previously, it was shown that the chaotic heavenly dog had been captured by a mighty figure, which meant that it was an immortal emperor. The chaotic heavenly dog suddenly looked up in shock. How did Master know? In the chaotic heavenly dog's opinion, although Hanju was powerful, he had always been in the mortal world and did not know much about the immortal world. Ever since it was captured in the immortal world, the chaotic heavenly dog knew how tiny the mortal world was. This was also the reason why it did not dare to speak about the real culprit. The other party was too strong, so powerful that it didn't dare to hate them. Hanju snorted coldly. With a wave of his right hand, he extracted the power from the chaotic heavenly dog's eye socket and extinguished it. Li Xian'eo has developed hatred towards you. Current hatred points, 1 star. Li Xian'eo, surprised, Hanju hurriedly checked his interpersonal relationships. Li Xian'eo, cultivation unknown. The second disciple of the human school who travels the heavens and collects Providence. He wants to lead human school to prosperity. Because you wiped away the power he left on the chaotic heavenly dog, he is interested in you. Current hatred points, 1 star. Interested? How was it hatred points? Then, Hanju cursed silently. Previously, the heavenly emperor had mentioned that the 2 disciples of the human school were about to reach the zenith heaven realm. In other words, Li Xian'eo was at the deity realm at the very least. Hanju's heart sank. Seeing that the chaotic heavenly dog refused to say anything, he said, "Go out and cultivate well. From now on, you are not allowed to gout." The chaotic heavenly dog heaved a sigh of relief and hurriedly fled the connate cave abode. He continued to cultivate. After the chaotic heavenly dog returned, its temperament changed drastically. It was no longer arrogant. Instead, it became passionate about cultivation. No matter how the black hell chicken cursed it, it would smile and not dare to retort. It had really been taught a lesson by society. Another 10 years passed. Hanju took out the Book of Misfortune and smiled strangely. He had endured for 10 years. It was cursing time. Hanju started cursing Li Xian'eo. Although he couldn't curse him to death, Hanju still wanted to mess with him. "How dare you dig out the eyes of my divine pet?" This is not over. Hanju decided to spend 5 days a year cursing. He would destroy this fellow's Tao heart. Just like that, year after year passed. 30 years passed. Hanju saw an email. "Because of your curse, the human school's Li Xian'eo developed mental demons." Hanju was so happy that he couldn't close his mouth. Great, very good. Since he had a mental demon, Hanju would curse him every 10 years. Hanju thought that the constant cursing would affect his cultivation. In the forest, a white-robed man sat under a tree. He looked to be in his 40s and had a calm temperament. A wooden sword floated beside him. He was the human school's Li Xian'eo. At this moment, Li Xian'eo frowned. There was a murderous aura between his brows. He suddenly opened his eyes and said in a low voice, "You're going too far. Don't let me find you." That damned curse haunted him like a nightmare. Most importantly, he couldn't even predict its existence. "Junior, has your cultivation been affected recently?" A gentle laugh sounded. Countless leaves fell and circled in front of Li Xian'eo, forming a figure. This person wore a green Taoist robe. He had a sword at his waist and a grass rope tied to his forehead. His black hair fluttered and he had a handsome face. Upon seeing him, Li Xian'eo couldn't help but snort. "What are you doing here?" This person was the eldest disciple of the human school, Li Daokong. Li Daokong smiled. "The immeasurable calamity is about to begin. I'm worried that you want to get involved. Li Shenao snorted. So what if I'm involved? Are you afraid that if I die, you'll die too? Brat, how can you think of me like that? Stop pretending to be a good person. Others might not know about you, but I know deeply. Li Daokong smiled and didn't say anything else. He stared at Li Shenao and suddenly narrowed his eyes. Have you been cursed? Li Xiaonao's expression instantly turned ashen. None of your business. Li Daokong raised his right hand and pointed at him. Li Xiaonao instinctively raised his hand to block, but he was still struck. His robes fluttered as the murderous aura between his brows dissipated. His cultivation. Li Xiaonao frowned, feeling extremely indignant. He had always wanted to surpass his senior, but the difference between the two of them was becoming greater and greater. They were clearly at the same cultivation realm. So why was there such a huge difference in strength? The Heavenly Emperor invited me to the Heavenly Court to preach the Tao. During this period of time, don't run out. Otherwise, you might be used by others and become someone who will face the calamity, Li Daokong said solemnly. Li Xiaonao said angrily, do you really think I'm ignorant? Besides, how many people in the immortal world are my match? Li Daokong said, you've been cursed recently and even developed mental demons. From your attitude, it's obvious that you don't even know who the other party is. Li Xiaonao's expression darkened. Chapter 266 Mastermind of the Immeasurable Calamity, Golden Rock Demon Lord. Cultivation was endless. Although the Heavenly Court had declared war on the Demon Court, the reroll world had always been peaceful. 100 years passed in the blink of an eye. Hanju's soul finally welcomed the opportunity to transform. With the help of the primordial chaos reincarnation Great Tao, he successfully broke through to the ranked 2 Immortal Emperor realm, and his dermic powers increased greatly. The reason why he cultivated so quickly was that he had fused with the Great Tao fragments previously, causing his cultivation level to rise until he was not far from breaking through. Even if it wasn't far, it still took him more than 100 years to break through. After reaching rank 2 Immortal Emperor realm, Hanju used the simulation trial to challenge the Heavenly Emperor. Unfortunately, he only lasted for 3 seconds. The Heavenly Emperor was too powerful. Hanju had no choice but to undergo the simulation trial with Jiang Yi to train his combat experience. However, Jiang Yi was too weak, so Hanju had to hold back every time. Fighting the injured victorious fighting Buddha was much easier. Hanju wanted to know how strong he was at his peak. Of course, it was only a thought. He didn't want to really encounter that. At least, not now. In a good mood after the simulation trial ended, Hanju started cursing the Demon Emperor and Li Shenao while checking his emails. Your good friend Heavenly Emperor was attacked by a mighty figure. Your good friend Ji Xianchen has obtained the Providence of the Devil race. His cultivation has increased greatly. Your good friend Divine General was attacked by the Demon race's Immortal Emperor, X23. Your grand disciple Morong Qi was attacked by demons, X321002. Your grand disciple Morong Qi has obtained the Tao fruit of his previous life again. His soul has transformed. Your grand disciple Feng Liang met a mighty figure by chance and obtained his guidance. He comprehended a great mystical power. Your good friend Di Taibai was attacked by a demon saint and was severely injured. Your good friend Marshal Shinpeng has jumped out of the cycle of reincarnation and regained the Immortal Emperor's providence. How intense! Hanju didn't understand why the Heavenly Emperor wanted to fight with the Demon Court before the tribulation. This continued, both sides would weaken each other. What benefits would there be? Wait, could it be that they wanted to weaken each other to avoid being targeted by the Heavenly Tao? The more Hanju thought about it, the more he felt that it was possible. However, this had nothing to do with him. All he had to do was stay in the reroll world. The immeasurable calamity had nothing to do with him. At the same time, Heavenly Court, Imperial Garden, the Heavenly Emperor and Li Daokong were drinking in the pavilion. Oh? Your junior was cursed by a book, the Heavenly Emperor asked in surprise. Li Daokong nodded. His Majesty knows my junior's cultivation level. The person who can curse him must be very strong. I'm worried that he might want to control the tribulation. The Heavenly Emperor narrowed his eyes. To be honest, some immortals and gods of our heavenly court have also been cursed by a book. The 4 extreme emperors, and I can't figure out the true mastermind. Not only the heavenly court but the Buddhist sect was also cursed by a book. The heavenly rage divine Buddha and the dragon subduing Buddha were cursed to death one after another. Li Daokong frowned. So many factions were cursed. The more he thought about it, the more uneasy he became. The heavenly emperor said faintly, "There are always people who want to control the tribulation and walk the path of the devil ancestor." Li Daokong sighed. Back then, the dragon, phoenix, and Qilin races were at their peak. The devil race secretly sowed discord between them, causing the 3 races to fight to the death and trigger countless calamities. At that time, he almost succeeded. Unfortunately, he encountered the Tao ancestor who appeared out of nowhere. Speaking of the Tao ancestor, Li Daokong's tone was filled with admiration. The creators of the 3 schools of the Tao sect were all personal disciples of the Tao ancestor. Li Daokong changed the topic. The 2 of us don't want to participate in this calamity, but the heavenly court is supported by the Tao ancestor. If the heavenly court is in trouble, we won't stand by and watch. The heavenly emperor smiled. I'll thank you in advance. The heavenly court only wants to transcend the calamity peacefully. In this lecture, are there any immortals that you're satisfied with? Li Daokong said, Long Jun and Morong Qi are quite talented. They're qualified to enter the deity realm. Especially Morong Qi. Morong Qi is the reincarnation of Profound Truth Divine Emperor. Oh. It's him. I've heard of him. It's said that he has potential rivaling Tao Sovereign. Your Majesty, you're really powerful. You can actually revive him. It's not my method. The heavenly emperor smiled mysteriously. Li Daokong was even more curious. Just as he was about to ask, Di Tai Bai suddenly appeared. Your Majesty, something bad has happened. The demon court sent an immortal emperor to destroy the mortal worlds. The first one they targeted was the fastest growing reroll world, Di Tai Bai said in a low voice. Hanju was the most highly regarded prodigy of the heavenly emperor. Nothing must happen to him, the heavenly emperor asked casually. Which immortal emperor? Son of the great rock, Golden Rock Demon Lord. Rank 2 immortal emperor? It's fine, let him go. Huh? Ignore him. You can leave. The heavenly emperor waved his sleeve. Although Di Tai Bai was puzzled, he didn't dare say anything. He bowed at Li Daokong and vanished on the spot. Li Daokong teased, did His Majesty also plant an immortal emperor in the mortal world? The heavenly emperor smiled without saying anything. Under the Fusang tree, Hanju finished his lecture. Hanju noticed that Li Yao's cultivation had already reached the perfected grand unity true immortal realm. He couldn't help but say, you guys have to learn from Li Yao. She's about to break through to the mystic immortal realm. Everyone's expression changed. Long Hao frowned. He was still a distance away from the mystic immortal realm. Ever since Li Yao came, he felt pressure on his cultivation speed. The son of the heavenly emperor was inferior to a child of heaven and earth. If news of this spread to the heavenly court, wouldn't it be a joke? Hanju noticed his expression. He was also puzzled. Long Hao's talent was actually inferior to Li Yao's. Was Li Yao too strong? Or was it Long Hao's problem? Could it be because Long Hao had 2 souls? Even after becoming an immortal emperor, Hanju couldn't capture Hao Tian's soul. He hid it really well. Sister Li Yao is too powerful. Tu Linger looked at Li Yao in admiration. Li Yao was usually silent and was also a woman. In Tu Linger's eyes, she was very powerful. Everyone started discussing. The chaotic heavenly dog trembled in immense regret. That had not left in the past. How strong would it be now? After young Tiandong died, the title of the weakest in the hidden sect fell on it.at. This moment, the Fusang tree suddenly shook violently. The 2 golden crows bristled and suddenly looked up at the sky. Everyone looked up and felt their blood run cold. A pair of terrifying eyes appeared in the blue sky and looked down. On the entire mortal world, Hanju frowned and immediately checked the surrounding experts. Golden Rock Demon Lord. Rank 2 Immortal Emperor, Demon Court's Demon Lord. Rank 2 Immortal Emperor, Hanju frowned. Peace was still broken, was also a rank 2 Immortal Emperor. He could definitely defeat the other party. However, Hanju was worried that the Demon Emperor had targeted the reroll world. After all, the son of the Demon Emperor, Crown Prince Tenza, had died in the void of the reroll world. Hanju immediately disappeared and reappeared in the void above the reroll world. A golden-winged great rock with boundless wings floated in the void. If it spread its wings, it could envelop the entire world. It was extremely huge. Immortal Emperor aura enveloped the void. Golden Rock Demon Lord's gaze landed on the tiny Hanju. Are you the guardian of this mortal world? The cultivation of a grand unity mystic immortal was really weak. Hanju nodded. Golden Rock Demon Lord snorted. Tell me, where did you get the Fusang tree? Greed appeared in his eyes. The Fusang tree was a divine tree. It was already extinct, yet it was actually discovered here. Could this be the reason why the providence of the reroll world had increased? Hanju pretended to be terrified. What do you want? What I want is naturally. Golden Rock Demon Lord smiled wildly. The primordial judgment sword suddenly appeared in Hanju's right hand. He suddenly raised his sword and slashed. He used his full power. Chapter 267 Killing Intent of the Demon Emperor. Rage of 100 million years. Sword pierces heaven, sword chi erupted, sword light burst out and drowned Golden Rock Demon Lord's majestic body. Almost instantly, Golden Rock Demon Lord raised his golden feathers to block. Boom! Golden Rock Demon Lord was directly slashed into two, causing blood to splatter through the void. His feathers were destroyed by the sword chi as a rain of blood poured down across the reroll world. Just as the blood rain was about to fall, a mysterious force froze it in the air. T was Hanju. He used his divine sense to expel all the blood. The blood of an immortal emperor fell on the mortal world. All living beings would die. Taking this opportunity, Golden Rock Demon Lord's essence soul jumped back and looked at him in horror. Immortal Emperor. Playing the pig to eat the tiger. Golden Rock Demon Lord was furious. He quickly condensed into human form, and a golden armored rock-headed demon appeared. He raised a trident with a terrifying aura. Hanju followed, and 9 divine shadows appeared around him. Great traversal divine shadow. Hanju and the 9 divine shadows used the move, Sword Pierces Heaven. Again, terrifying sword chi swept over, scaring Golden Rock Demon Lord as he teleported away. The moment he reappeared, he saw Hanju. Hanju waved his sword again. This time, Golden Rock Demon Lord was killed before he could react. His body and soul were destroyed. Golden Rock Demon Lord was dead. But not completely. Golden Rock Demon Lord has developed hatred towards you. Current hatred points, 6 stars. Hanju showed a frown. He could no longer sense Golden Rock Demon Lord's aura. Hanju carefully observed his surroundings and used the system to check. After confirming that the Golden Rock Demon Lord was no longer around, he returned to the Fusang tree. The battle lasted very quickly. It took less than half a minute from Hanju's departure to his return. Everyone from the hidden sect looked at him and hesitated. Hanju checked his interpersonal relationships and discovered that the Golden Rock Demon Lord's portrait was still there. This fellow was still alive. It seemed that this fellow had a soul fragment in his hometown, so he was not completely dead. Hanju's first reaction was to curse him to death. No, after cursing so many people, someone might discover that he was the source of the curses. Hanju had to be cautious. He would do it after some time. Hanju took a deep breath and said, "A strong enemy attacked the reroll world just now. Fortunately, it has been resolved. I was almost killed by the other party. Cultivate well. I can't protect you forever." Everyone looked at each other. The black hell chicken couldn't help but ask, "Master, do you think we're stupid?" He was dealt with so quickly. It was obvious that he wasn't almost killed, but Hanju forcefully killed the other party. It had been more than 2,000 years. Hanju's battle records were almost always insta-kills by crushing the enemy with overwhelming power. Hanju glared at the black hell chicken, causing it to shrink in fear. Long Hao asked excitedly, "Master, what's his cultivation level?" Hanju hesitated for a moment before saying, "Immortal Emperor." If the enemy was too weak, the disciples would definitely not feel any pressure. Immortal Emperor, Sun Chang'an, Li Yao, Ada, Xiao Er, and the chaotic heavenly dog widened their eyes. The others didn't know how strong an immortal emperor was. They were only curious. That person isn't dead. He might come back in the future. If I can't win, I'll run away, Hanju said seriously. Everyone nodded, but they were still excited. Run, since when have you ever run away? Everyone from the hidden sect was thinking about the immortal emperor. How strong was Hanju? Hanju noticed their expressions and his heart skipped a beat. Crap, I showed too much strength, Hanju said seriously. Actually, I have something to tell you. Everyone waited expectantly. The immeasurable calamity is about to arrive. Every time it descends, the myriad worlds will change. It's like the end of the world. Most living beings will die, Hanju, but he didn't exaggerate. The immeasurable calamity was that terrifying. The chances of survival were slim. Hanju told them what he knew about the calamity, only talking about how those major forces had perished. Everyone was bitterly disappointed. Such a terrifying calamity was about to arrive. Zhou Mingyue carefully asked, Grandmaster, will our mortal world also be affected? Hanju nodded. Everyone became even more nervous. They suddenly realized why a mighty figure like Hanju would always hide in the mortal world. So it was the calamity. Even if we stay away from conflict, we can't avoid the calamity? Li Yao asked. She looked extremely nervous. As a cultivator, she almost peed her pants. Hanju shook his head. Oh no, I'm not strong enough. I finally understand why Grandmaster has been in seclusion. I really have to hurry up. Even Grand Unity Golden Immortals will become cannon fodder. We'll definitely die. I won't go out to train anymore. Let's see who can break through faster. Everyone's emotions were ignited. Hanju nodded in satisfaction. The Demon Emperor's hatred towards you has increased. Current hatred points, 6 stars. A line of words suddenly appeared in front of Hanju, stunning him. Demon Court, Demon Emperor Palace. The Demon Emperor sat on the throne and stared at the kneeling Golden Rock Demon Lord expressionlessly. Immortal Emperor? I didn't expect the Heavenly Court to still have an unknown Immortal Emperor hidden. No wonder Tianza died in the reroll world. The Demon Emperor muttered to himself. Golden Rock Demon Lord gritted his teeth and said, that fellow is shameless. He attacked without a word. The Demon Emperor did not reply. He only stared coldly at Golden Rock Demon Lord, scaring him so much that he hurriedly lowered his head. How can the Great Rock have such a useless son like you? You're too careless. Since the other party can kill you quickly, it means that his strength far exceeds yours. Under such circumstances, he even used his full strength. You have to learn from him, or you'll die sooner or later, the Demon Emperor said indifferently. His eyes were filled with killing intent. Golden Rock Demon Lord could also sense it. He thought that the Demon Emperor wanted to kill Hanju. Little did he know that the Demon Emperor also wanted to kill him. The Demon Emperor sneered. Very good. In that case, send a message to the Black Hell Demon Lord. Tell him to destroy the reroll world and kill that kid. The Golden Rock Demon Lord suddenly raised his head and said excitedly, Thank you, Your Majesty. With the Black Hell Demon Lord, that fellow is surely dead. The Demon Emperor waved his hand impatiently, and Golden Rock hurriedly retreated. Inside the connate cave abode, Hanju frowned. The increase in the Demon Emperor's hatred was most likely caused by Golden Rock Demon Lord. This was troublesome. There would definitely be endless trouble should he directly curse the Demon Emperor. Wasn't this too obvious? On second thought, from the perspective of the Demon Emperor, he had too many enemies. How could he think that it was him? To be safe, Hanju decided to wait. He would cultivate for a few years before cursing. Hanju closed his eyes. 7 years passed in a flash. Hanju took out the Book of Misfortune and fell into a dilemma. How should he curse this time? Casually? Or go all out? Hanju panicked when he thought of the Demon Emperor's 6-star hatred. Go all in, Demon Emperor, right? I'll spend 100 million years on you. Let's see if you can withstand it. Hanju made up his mind. After breaking through to the rank 2 Immortal Emperor realm, his lifespan surpassed 7 trillion years. So, what if he used up 100 million years? Hanju immediately cursed the demon court's demon emperor with his full strength. Chapter 268 Immeasurable Calamity begins. The Black Hell Demon Lord descends into the world. A month later, Hanju bled from his 7 orifices. However, he was an immortal emperor. As long as his essence soul was not injured, the injuries on his body were nothing. He still didn't see the outcome of the demon emperor being cursed. As expected of a big shot with unknown cultivation. He was very strong. Hanju looked at his lifespan. He had only lost tens of thousands of years. It was nothing. He continued cursing. This time, he was determined to spend 100 million years of lifespan. Even if he couldn't curse the demon emperor to death, he had to generate a mental demon. It just so happened that the heavenly court was attacking the demon court. The demon emperor would definitely be vexed. Your Majesty, I'm secretly helping you guys. I didn't let you down. Hanju thought silently. However, he could only keep this matter a secret and not disclose it to prevent unnecessary trouble. Dao Comprehension's sword looked at his face covered in blood and felt heartache. Master was definitely working hard to avoid calamity. Sigh. When can I become strong enough to protect my master? Dao Comprehension's sword's heart ached. She began to work hard. Demon Court, Demon Emperor Palace. Hundreds of terrifying figures gathered in the hall. They were all demon saints. The demon emperor was extremely frustrated as he listened to an old demon saint report the situation of the battle with the heavenly court. Damn heavenly emperor, we agreed to put on a show, but he's so serious about it. The demon emperor cursed silently. He felt that the heavenly emperor was not a good person. At this moment, a strong sense of misfortune attacked him. He could clearly sense that a powerful misfortune was devouring his providence, karma, and even his cultivation. It was that book again. The demon emperor was furious. The other party clearly wanted to disturb his Dao heart and force him into the calamity. No, I have to endure it. A demon soldier suddenly flew into the hall and knelt down. He shouted in fear, Your Majesty. Something is wrong. The Buddhists suddenly attacked us. Buddhas, bodhisattvas, and arhats appeared in our territory, slaughtering demons and suppressing the demon kings. Boom! The demon emperor palace exploded into a commotion. All the demon saints and demon lords were furious. The Buddhist sect actually stabbed them in the back. Previously, when Great Sage equaling heaven attacked the heavenly court, it was a conspiracy between the demon court and the Buddhist sect. They originally thought that they could establish a long-term alliance, but who knew? The demon emperor was also furious. Heavenly Tao Buddha. Good. Very good. The demon emperor was furious. Terrifying demonic aura overflowed from his body. At this moment, another powerful curse attacked. The demon emperor felt the malice of the world. It was as if all the forces in the immortal world were targeting him. You want the demon court to face the calamity? Very good. In that case, don't blame me for going mad. The demon emperor suddenly stood up and shouted angrily, Summon all the demon saints back and prepare the secret formation. With that said, all the demons were moved. They tried to dissuade the demon emperor, but he was in a rage and could not control himself. A year later, Hanju's lifespan had already decreased by more than 80 million years. He had cursed with all his might in this last year. Finally, he saw the demon emperor successfully cursed for the first time. Your enemy demon emperor developed mental demons because of your curse. It took 80 million years of lifespan for him to develop mental demons. *CK The demon emperor, Hanju was secretly shocked. He put down the book of misfortune and began to heal his body. It was about time to stop. He had to prevent himself from becoming addicted. Hanju knew how terrifying gambling was. It was a bottomless abyss. Several days later, Hanju's injuries recovered and he returned to his peak. He began to cultivate. Another 10 years. He would curse Golden Rock Demon Lord. This fellow had to die. 6-star hatred points was really terrifying. If he didn't die, Hanju wouldn't be able to eat or sleep in peace. At this moment, Hanju suddenly sensed the fluctuation from the heavenly Tao token and immediately took it out. Senior, is anything the matter? Hanju asked. The person who contacted him was Tai Bai. Tai Bai sighed. The demon court has gone mad. They're declaring war on the Buddhist sect and the heavenly court. The calamity might be activated because of this. Next, the mortal world will also be involved in a chaotic battle. I'm here to inform you that you shouldn't enter seclusion to prevent the enemy from taking advantage of you. Hanju was confused. Buddhist sect were the divine palace, heavenly court, Buddhist sect, and demon court playing a game called werewolf. How could they form an alliance or backstab each other just like that? Hanju asked curiously. How did the Buddhist sect offend the demon court? When the heavenly court attacked the demon court, the Buddhist sect also attacked. Furious, the demon emperor used a secret formation to awaken a fiendish supreme treasure. Endless negative karma is spreading to the entire immortal world, Tai Bai said helplessly. Speaking of this, he was very uneasy. Although he knew that the immeasurable calamity was coming, he didn't expect it to start immediately. Hanju was speechless. Was there something wrong with the Buddhists? Why did they have to do this? Now that the calamity had started ahead of time, no one could be at peace. Hanju sighed inside. The two of them chatted for a while more before cutting off their divine sense connection. Hanju felt a sense of danger and continued cultivating. Rank 2 Immortal Emperor was too weak. Even Zenith Heaven experts might not be able to protect themselves. In the depths of the void, a terrifying demonic mist swept over as if darkness was devouring everything. A pair of eyes appeared in the demonic mist. He exclaimed, "This aura is..." The demonic mist quickly surged as a demonic black-robed man walked out. A pair of black-feathered phoenix wings wrapped around his back, burning with black flames. He was the Black Hell Demon Lord of the Demon Court. This time, he came to destroy the reroll world. However, the Black Hell Demon Lord was very careful and did not dare to act rashly. He felt that it was not that simple. The heavenly court would likely set a trap. However, just as he arrived at the reroll world, he sensed a familiar aura. A blood relative of the same race, the Black Hell Demon Lord was nervous. Could it be that the heavenly emperor took control of that fellow's reincarnation? He set a trap for me? The Black Hell Demon Lord's true form was the Black Hell Phoenix, an ancient race that was born at the beginning of the world. A long time ago, the younger brother of the Black Hell Demon Lord offended the heavenly court and killed many of them. He was suppressed by the 4 extreme emperors and his soul was thrown into the cycle of reincarnation. After so many years, the Black Hell Demon Lord had almost forgotten about it. Although they were brothers, the Black Hell Demon Lord had always looked down on his younger brother. The difference in talent between them was too great. His younger brother had always relied on the power and reputation of the elder brother to act recklessly. It was also a good thing that he was punished by the heavenly court. As the Black Hell Demon Lord thought, he secretly sneaked into the reroll world. He used a secret technique to turn his aura into nothingness, not attracting anyone's attention. He followed the aura of his brother's soul and soon arrived in front of the Cultivate diligently become immortal mountain. He frowned as he looked at the mountain ahead, that tree. So it was the Fusong tree. No wonder Golden Rock Demon Lord came here. The Black Hell Demon Lord was not tempted. Instead, he was vigilant, was shocked to discover that his divine sense couldn't enter the Cultivate diligently become immortal mountain. There was an extremely mysterious and powerful restriction protecting this mountain. The Black Hell Demon Lord hesitated and did not dare to advance rashly. He noticed a sect nearby. It was so close to the mountain, so it had to be related. An idea suddenly popped into his head. He decided to transform into a mortal and join the sect. Under the Fusong tree, the Black Hell Chicken, who was cultivating, suddenly opened its eyes. For some reason, it felt inexplicably uneasy, as if a calamity was about to descend. Chapter 269 Heavenly Emperor's Card, Fishing in the Yellow Spring. 5 years later, Hanju opened his eyes and started to test the experts near the reroll world to prevent enemies from attacking. Immediately after, he saw a line of words, Black Hell Demon Lord, Rank 5 Immortal Emperor, Demon Court's Demon Lord, Rank 5 Immortal Emperor. Hanju widened his eyes in shock and shivered. So powerful, he subconsciously took out the Heavenly Dao token and prepared to get help. Wait. The other party seemed to be. Hanju detected that the Black Hell Demon Lord was in the Jade Pure Sacred Sect. This fellow was. Hanju didn't dare to act rashly, afraid that he would disturb the other party. Black Hell Demon Lord, Black Hell. Could this fellow be related to the Black Hell chicken? Hanju stopped thinking and started the simulation trial. He wanted to see if he could win. After a long time, Hanju opened his eyes with a solemn expression. He couldn't kill the Black Hell Demon Lord. A rank 5 Immortal Emperor was indeed strong. Hanju could only barely fight evenly with him, despite using his full strength. Because he was afraid of being attacked by the Black Hell Demon Lord, he had to stop the simulation trial. Who knew how long it would take if he continued fighting? With their dermic powers, it wouldn't be a problem for them to fight for decades. Hanju started to worry. He couldn't insta-kill the other party. What should he do? Run? Where to? Hanju frowned. He took out the Heavenly Dao token again and contacted deities Bai. In the end, he couldn't contact the other party. He had no choice but to chase Dao Comprehension's sword out and call the Heavenly Emperor. After a long while, the Heavenly Emperor's voice sounded. What is it? Hanju told him about the Black Hell Demon Lord. The Black Hell Demon Lord is actually here. You don't have to worry. Didn't you adopt a chicken? The Heavenly Emperor replied. Hanju was stunned. How did the Heavenly Emperor know? Could it be? The Heavenly Emperor said, that's right. I planted your chicken there to restrain the Black Hell Demon Lord. You can let them come into contact. Hanju's expression turned strange, and he asked curiously, how many traps have you set up? It's not a trap. I'm just giving the Black Hell Phoenix clan some face. I expected this card to be useful. As for how, that's up to fate. The Heavenly Emperor's words made Hanju fall silent. After a while, he couldn't help but ask, around me, are there more? The Heavenly Emperor said, there are. Hanju's heart skipped a beat. It's our. Actually, you don't have to think too much. You took the initiative to accept these people, not me. You seem to be able to see through their origins. I'm also very interested in your methods. The Heavenly Emperor smiled teasingly. Hanju smiled awkwardly and politely. All right, that's all. I still have to deal with the Demon Emperor. The Heavenly Emperor said no more. Hanju hurriedly bowed. After that, he walked out of the connate cave abode and instructed the Black Hell Chicken to visit the Jade Pure Sacred Sect. It was called Guts Training. The Black Hell Chicken was full of confidence and felt that Hanju had underestimated it. After leaving the Cultivate diligently become Immortal Mountain, Hanju discovered that this fellow's body was trembling. This was true social anxiety. Hanju stopped paying attention to the Black Hell Chicken to avoid alerting it. Upon arriving at the Jade Pure Sacred Sect, many disciples looked at the Black Hell Chicken. Such a huge black chicken was obviously extraordinary. The Black Hell Chicken walked proudly on the streets of the inner sect city, feeling extremely nervous. Master must be watching me. I can't show fear. If that dog can do it, why can't I? The Black Hell Chicken cheered itself on. At this moment, it suddenly bumped into a disciple. Don't you have eyes when you walk? Be careful or I'll beat you to death with my wings. The Black Hell Chicken glared at the disciple, its heart trembling. This disciple wore the Taoist robe of the Jade Pure Sacred Sect. His black hair was long and his face was handsome and sinister. He was obviously not a good person. What? The Black Hell Chicken cursed angrily. It was a loose immortal, after all. How could it be afraid of mortals? The evil-looking disciple stared at it and said, do you remember your previous life? The Black Hell Chicken harumphed. Of course I remember. I'm a phoenix. The disciple frowned and stared at the Black Chicken. The Black Hell Chicken felt uneasy. It snorted. Get lost. With that, it walked around the disciple and left. The evil-looking disciple turned around and stared coldly at the back of the Black Hell Chicken. Time flew. 10 years passed in a flash. The Black Hell Demon Lord did not attack the Cultivate diligently become Immortal Mountain or look for Hanju. However, the Black Hell Chicken had become fond of running to the Jade Pure Sacred Sect. Hanju guessed that it had already hooked up with the Black Hell Demon Lord. He guessed that the Black Hell Demon Lord was here to find the Black Hell Chicken. However, even so, he couldn't let his guard down lest he was attacked by the Black Hell Demon Lord. On this day, Hanju took out the Book of Misfortune and started cursing Golden Rock Demon Lord. He opened the emails. Your good friend Heavenly Emperor was attacked by your enemy Demon Emperor. Your good friend Divine General was attacked by the demon race's immortal emperor, X27. Your grand disciple Morong Chi was attacked by a demon saint and was severely injured. Fortunately, the heavenly court's immortal emperor saved him. Your grand disciple Feng Liang has left the mortal world. Your good friend Huang Jihao coincidentally met your enemy Li Shanao. With his guidance, his sword Dao has increased greatly. Your good friend Ji Xianchen has mastered the yin-yang mystical power. His providence has increased greatly. Your Dao companion Xian Qingjun accidentally entered the ancient dragon palace. Your good friend Pan Xan was attacked by a mighty figure and was severely injured. The battle was intense, even the heavenly emperor participated in it. Hanju couldn't help but mourn for the demon emperor. Facing the siege of the heavenly court and the Buddhist sect, it was very difficult for the demon court to hold on. Now, he just had to see if the divine palace would turn around and reinforce it. Hanju noticed that Pan Xan was actually attacked and was severely injured. Could it be that mysterious master of calamity? Hanju contacted Liu Bei and learned that Pan Xan had already left. It was good that he left. Although Pan Xan had taught him a mystical power, he still did not want to have too many interactions with him to avoid unnecessary trouble. After reading the emails, Hanju cursed and started thinking, the calamity had already begun. He really didn't feel safe. No, I've to think of a way to survive, Hanju thought silently. At least, there had to be a place to hide. Hanju frowned. The Sword Dao River wasn't safe enough. It could only be the Netherworld. The Netherworld was very big. The devils and magi were also hiding there. Hanju had an idea. 10 days later, his essence soul left his body and directly jumped into the Netherworld. He hid his aura and did not look for Mengpa. Instead, he wandered around the Netherworld alone. The Netherworld was like the eternal night, dark and boundless. There were no living beings, and occasionally, one would encounter wandering ghosts. Hanju moved forward quickly and scanned the surroundings with his divine sense. Along the way, he saw many ghost soldiers patrolling in groups, moving through the mist like ghosts. The ghost soldiers were very obvious in Hanju's divine sense. They had nowhere to hide. Most of the ghost soldiers were only at the Tribulation Transcendence and Mahayana realms. They were not as strong as Hanju imagined. Several hours later, Hanju came to the edge of the Yellow Spring. It was very big, and he couldn't find the end. It was like an endless sea. He stopped and looked at a figure ahead. The other party wore a raincoat and was fishing in the Yellow Spring. Hanju found it strange. Most importantly, he couldn't see through the other party's cultivation. Could it be a mighty figure? Hanju subconsciously wanted to go around him. Immortal Emperor Samsara, you're finally here, the man in the raincoat suddenly said. His words caused Hanju to stop in his tracks. Chapter 270 Hidden Sect Island, Crazy Demon Court. Immortal Emperor Samsara, did he recognize the wrong person? Hanju looked at the man in the raincoat and fell into deep thought. It's been 1,000,000 years. You're finally here. Where's the thing I wanted? The man in the raincoat asked with his back facing him. Hanju asked calmly, what about the thing I want? The man in the raincoat pulled the fishing rod in his hand and the line shrank. He put the fishing rod into his sleeve and turned to look at him. I've already gotten what you wanted, but what about what I want? How cautious, Hanju said, this involves too many things. The calamity is coming. I have to understand what you want to do. The man in the raincoat was silent and looked up at him. Under his rain hat, a pair of ghost-like eyes flickered non-stop. It was strange and terrifying. Hanju was very calm. Although he couldn't see through the other party's cultivation, he didn't feel that it was very dangerous. The man in the raincoat said, I've already said that it's only for revenge. Against who? Hanju was puzzled, but he didn't ask. What if the raincoat man and Immortal Emperor Samsara had already talked about it? Immortal Emperor Samsara, could it be that you want to go back on your word? Have you given up on your grand plan? The raincoat man continued. When Hanju heard the words grand plan, he felt that he couldn't interfere anymore. He wanted to take advantage of the situation, but he realized that something was wrong. Forget it. He was here to find a place to hide and not cause trouble. Wait a little longer. I'll come find you soon. With that, Hanju turned around and left. Wait. Immortal Emperor Samsara. I'm not threatening you. The man in the raincoat panicked and hurriedly caught up to him. Hanju increased his speed and quickly shook him off. The man in the raincoat stopped and stomped his feet before returning helplessly. Hanju continued forward and started to think, what was Immortal Emperor Samsara's plan? Hanju had met Immortal Emperor Samsara before, but they had only chatted for a while. He didn't even see his true appearance. Is there a trap in the inheritance given to me by the system? Hanju thought silently. This Immortal Emperor Samsara clearly had a powerful background. However, Hanju was not worried. He had already surpassed the 6 paths of reincarnation technique and created an even stronger primordial chaos reincarnation, Great Tao Da. He only needed to become stronger. No matter what schemes Immortal Emperor Samsara had prepared, he was not afraid. After circling around for several hours, Hanju still didn't find a suitable place. In the blink of an eye, another 5 years passed. Hanju kept wandering in the netherworld. After searching for a period of time, he would return to the connate cave abode to avoid being attacked. During his time in the netherworld, he encountered devils, bodhisattvas, demon saints, and even saw the underworld. The netherworld was complicated, and the number of forces exceeded Hanju's expectations. He kept his distance, afraid that others would discover his existence. Finally, Hanju discovered a very well-hidden valley located in the Yellow Springs Ocean. It was an island overall. From high up in the sky, it was only the tip of a reef the size of a fist that revealed the surface of the sea. After landing, he discovered a hidden space. It was very big inside. Most importantly, this island wouldn't be flooded by the water of the netherworld. It would undulate along the surface of the sea, but one would not feel any fluctuations on the island. The interior of the island was hundreds of kilometers wide. There were no flowers or trees, and the valley that Hanju had his eyes on was located at the center of the island. This valley actually contained a connate restriction. Entering the valley would result in the 5 elements calamity of wind, rain, lightning, thunder, and fire. If living beings below the Grand Unity Mystic Immortal Realm forced their way in, their bodies and souls would definitely be destroyed. Nice place. It wasn't easy to discover this island from the outside. There were also connate restrictions on the island, equivalent to defensive arrays and trap arrays. Hanju was very satisfied. Then, he started to cast spells to deepen the spatial restrictions outside the island so that the divine sense of living beings below him couldn't capture it. Then, he erected a huge monument, Hidden Sect. If a mighty figure discovered this place, they would also understand that it was already occupied. Hanju heaved a sigh of relief. He finally found a place to hide. He left after leaving a 6 paths insignia on the island. After returning to the connate cave abode, Hanju began to create a heavenly puppet, would send it to Hidden Sect Island to guard it.as for why he didn't create a reincarnation avatar. Hanju felt that one Liu Bei was enough. After all, the reincarnation avatar had the ability to think independently. Although it was absolutely loyal, something might happen. If the enemy caught it and read its soul, it would be terrible if it stole Hanju's secrets. The fewer reincarnation avatars there were, the better, Hanju thought silently. 10 days later, he finished creating the heavenly puppet and brought it to the netherworld through his essence soul. On that day, his essence soul returned to his body. After doing all of this, Hanju started cultivating again. In the endless wasteland, countless demons and heavenly soldiers were fighting. 2 figures walked out from the end of the ground. They were the second disciple of the human school, Li Xian'eo, and Huang Jihao, who had lost to Hanju in the mortal world. Huang Jihao looked at the battle in the sky and was extremely nervous. He asked carefully, "Senior, why are we here?" The battle between the heavenly court and the demon court had long spread throughout the immortal world. Huang Jihao also knew that he had to look up to these 2 overlords. He didn't want to take any risks. Although he liked to fight, he was not stupid. Li Xian'eo said expressionlessly, "Don't you want to learn my sword Dao? Is it related to this battlefield? My sword Dao is the killing Dao." Huang Jihao's eyes widened in shock. "Senior, are you joining the battle?" he asked nervously. "Which side are you supporting?" Li Xianao's eyes were cold. Slaughter the immortals and gods. Huang Jihao felt even more terrified when he heard that, in his heart, the demons were the humans' enemies. The immortals were the forces that protected the humans, so they naturally favored the heavenly court. Go kill the enemies. Kill 100,000 heavenly soldiers and I'll teach you the sword Dao, Li Xianao said softly. Hearing this, Huang Jihao's expression changed. Li Xianao was the strongest sword immortal he had ever seen. He had shamelessly obtained his approval after much effort. He rejected now, all his efforts would be in vain. Fine, then, Huang Jihao gritted his teeth and drew his sword. In this life, he was cultivating for himself. How could he let emotion stop him? On the Cultivate diligently become Immortal Mountain, less than a year after Hanju returned from the Netherworld, Di Taibai took the initiative to contact him. What is it? Hanju asked. Di Taibai said, the demon court has gathered many powerful ancient races in the immortal world, including the rock race, the golden crow race, the vermilion bird race, and so on. Next, they will launch a full-scale counterattack against the Heavenly Court and the Buddhist sect. The Heavenly Court will no longer be able to care about the mortal world. It's best that you ascend. That way, the Heavenly Court can still protect you. Detected that the Demon Court has launched a full-scale counterattack against the Heavenly Court. You have the following choices. 1. Immediately ascend and join the Heavenly Court. You can obtain a random natural treasure. 2. Don't ascend for the time being. Cultivate in a low-profile manner and you can obtain a supreme treasure. Hanju showed a frown. If he went to Heavenly Court now, wouldn't he be surrounded? If Heavenly Court lost, wouldn't he be trapped? He couldn't go. Hanju said seriously, I can't leave the reroll world. I'm the guardian of this mortal world, after all. The Heavenly Court doesn't have to worry about me. I can take care of myself. Di Taibai sighed. Damned Demon Court. I didn't expect them to secretly collude with so many ancient races. It's obvious that they've been planning this for a long time. The Demon Emperor has already gone mad. He wants to destroy the Heavenly Court and the Buddhist sect even if he has to trigger the calamity.